let's review fundamental PD that we derived last week. So let us assume that stock price S follows next geometry Brownian motion. So ds equal mu s dt sigma s dz. So we are modeling stock return. Expected return is mu, and then expected volatility is sigma. Thus, therefore, ds square is sigma square s square dt, right? Because we are squaring this term. Suppose there is a derivative and whose value is f as t. S is underlying asset, t is time to maturity, so f is by definition derivative. Applying Taylor series expansion or E theorem, okay, the process of the value of derivative is df equal ft dt, and then f as ds, f s over 2 ds square. So this is just Taylor series expansion up to second order for stochastic term. And then we know ds square is sigma square s square dt, so we plug this one over here. Therefore, df, we decompose df into the deterministic term and the stochastic term, which is in turn driven by underlying asset. And then as you can see, this is the, this is, you can say this is a revenue process of investing in derivatives. Then what is the cost? We are interested in cost. Let's consider the opportunity cost of holding the derivative. Then we have to pay interest rate R per period, t period dt on the value of f. Therefore, total financing cost for holding the derivative whose value is f multiplied by f is value, R dt is interest rate for the period. Therefore, per period we have to pay fr or fr dt. Therefore, your net zero cost position, basically your profit, revenue minus cost, which is profit, looks like this. Okay, so this is basically similar to this one, except this term, right? RF term. And then this is your profit. So basically, you didn't invest anything. You didn't invest your net money. You borrow money from the bank and you borrow money from the bank and you invest in the derivative directly. So your net position is zero, but it does not mean that you are not exposed to the risk. You are exposed to the risk. You borrow money and invest in assets. So if your asset price go up, you are good. If asset price go down, you are bad. So although you didn't invest anything in net, it doesn't mean that you are not exposed to the risk. Actually, you are exposed to the risk because of the stochastic term driven by this underlying asset, FSDS. Now you want to get rid of this risk term. You want to do delta hedging. Hi. Your position is risky because of this DS term. Hence, we want to remove the term. In order to remove term, we have to hold the underlying asset S by the amount of F, which is called delta hedging. Okay. Suppose you are an investment banker, you sold the derivative to the client, and then you want to hold the position. There's another way of interpreting this. After considering financing cost, you want to hold minus FSDS RSDT. Again, you borrow money and invest in underlying asset. How much minus FS? Because you want to get rid of this term. This is also zero cost portfolio. It is zero cost because you borrow money and invest in underlying asset. Combining now the terms to describe the dynamics of the portfolio, now we have DFRFDT minus FSDSRSDT. This is actually what traders indeed do in actually investment bank. Delta hedging. Take derivative, if you have a position in derivative, take opposite position in underlying asset, and then you balance cash. Okay. So if you write down this one, then you have this one. Right, and therefore you can get rid of this one, so you have only deterministic term. You don't have risk because you hedged out your risk. Then this dynamics has no risk and generate this term in the parentheses deterministically. Right, it is now deterministic. There is no stochastic term per period. However, this term now should be zero because we do not invest anything. Right, you didn't invest anything. right? You borrow money and invest something, and you are now generate deterministic, predictable return. If it is not zero, you are basically generating arbitrage profit. We are assuming there is no arbitrage. Therefore, this term should be zero. This term should be zero. Thus, if the term is not zero, we generate riskless cash flow with zero cost portfolio. This violates no arbitrary condition. Therefore, this should hold, and this is called Black-Scholes equation. Okay. Remember now F. I didn't say anything about F. I just told F is a function of underlying asset and time to maturity. So it's a very general form of derivative. It's a very general form of any asset. Therefore, for any derivative, actually for any asset, the derivative should satisfy this partial differential equation. Right. This means that if we solve this partial differential equation, we can get F. Thus, we call this PD as partial differential, fundamental partial differential equation, because we can get any derivative price by just solving this PD. So it's fundamental. It's very important. Any question up to this point? We run this one last week, so 질문 없어요? Any question? No? It's straightforward, right? So formula over valuation function of all derivative are solution of the fundamental PD with just different maturity condition. That F, big T, now T, right? I mean, we have a lot of numerous derivatives, and it does not make sense. They have all same price. They should have all different price. They have all different valuation function. But our equation is same. But it does not mean the solution is same. Equation is same for all derivatives, regardless of whether it is call option, put option, or futures, swap, or whatever. Thing is that the fundamental differential equation is same, but only the maturity condition is different. That's the only thing. So it means that if we impose maturity condition and solve PD, then we have price. For example, if the maturity condition F as big T equal max xt minus x 0, well, this is called call option, right? European call option, right? So if we impose this maturity condition and then solve PD, then we have a Black-Scholes call option formula, right? And if st big T st minus x, then it is the value of the futures contract at the maturity. So if we solve this up, then we can get the value of forward or futures contract at specific time. And if we set that becomes 0, then we have this formula for the forward price. That PD, okay, as I told you, that PD is not so difficult to solve. There is a well-known formula called the Feynman-Keck solution. Okay, the PD is also known as heat equation, whose solutions are already well known. Okay, the PD, I assume you don't know PD, but your friend in engineering school know how to solve this one. So you can just give them this equation, maturity condition, and they will give you the answer. And that's the derivative formula. The PD is not difficult to solve. The PD is known as a heat equation, whose solutions are already well known. In addition, you can solve the PD even without solving the heat equation. Okay? If you use economic intuition, you can solve the PD with high school only, high school mathematics. Right? Remember, in our class, we don't deal with mathematics. It's more difficult than high school level. Then how to solve this PD without solving PD? Or how to solve this PD with just some high school mathematics, economic intuition? Let us take a hard look into the fundamental PD and underlying asset price. Right? ds equal mu s dt sigma s dz is a process of underlying asset, and this is a fundamental PD that we will have to solve. Right? First, we cannot see dz term in the second PD. dz term is in the first equation, underlying asset equation, but it's not in the second equation. It is natural because of the delta hedging. We hedge out the risk. So there is no risk, so there is no dz. Second, more importantly, we cannot see the expected return of underlying asset mu. In the first equation, there is a mu. Mu is expected return. Second equation, there is no mu. This is surprising in some sense. If we are interested in the call option price of IBM, then we don't have to know the expected return of the IBM. If IBM stock price go up, we make money. If IBM stock price go down in call option, we don't exercise the call option, right? But the value of call option doesn't depend on the probability of IBM stock going up or going down. That's very surprising. Not surprising. I was surprised when I first saw this one. Anyway, the reason is that we hedge out the underlying. Again, we hedge out the stochastic process of the risk of underlying assets. So the probability of going up, going down doesn't matter. Anyway, let's look at it. So, yeah, mu term, we cannot see the expected return of underlying asset mu. This means that when we evaluate derivative price, we do not need any information about the return of the underlying asset. In order to compute the derivative price of IBM, we do not need any information about what would be the price of IBM in future, or what is the probability of going up or going down, what is the expected return. This is identical intuition with why we do not need the objective price of stock price going up, but just need the risk neutral probability. Well, this term is from binomial model, but I assume you all learned binomial model, so I didn't cover this one. Okay. Now we can conjecture the solution of a fundamental PD. We want to solve this one from the insight that we do not need the information of the expected return of the derivative. We want to solve this one. The hint of solving this one is that we don't need this one. So this is the hint of solving this one. Because we do not need this information to solve this one, we can plug any arbitrary number about here. For example, since we do not need the expected return, we can replace with any value we feel comfortable. First obvious one is 0. We can use 0 instead of mu. However, for this section, let us plug risk-free rate R in place of mu. Then the process of underlying becomes this one. So because mu doesn't matter, so we can solve this one by replacing mu with R, like this one. Okay. I put star in order to indicate that we are now assuming a risk neutral. It is a risk neutral word because the assets, as soon as we plug R instead of mu, it means that we are assuming every asset return is the same to R. That would happen only when all the people in the economy is risk neutral. They don't care risk. In a risk neutral world, investors make decisions only upon expected return, not risk. Because they don't care risk, they only care return. So whatever the return is slightly high, they will flock to buy that equity. They flock to buy that asset. Right? So that asset expected return go down. If expected return is lower than the others, no one will buy and actually short it, so the expected return of that go up. Basically. So in equilibrium, if people are risk neutral, expected return should be same for all. And it should be same to risk-free rate. Then every expected return should be equal, especially to risk-free rate R. This means that the expected price of any asset at time t should be like this one, right? Remember, every asset. So suppose an asset price is VT. Now you have two options: you buy the asset or you put that money into bank. If you put money in the bank, VT amount, then in the bank it becomes ERT minus TVT, right? Instead, if you buy an asset at time big T, the asset price, expected asset price like this one, because you are risk neutral, they should be same. It shouldn't matter whether you invest the money in the bank or buy asset. So that it should be same. Therefore, you plug this one over here, then you have this one. Okay. If there is dividend, expected return, expected capital gain should be, we have to subtract by the amount of dividend, because anyway, if you buy an asset, if you if you invest money in the bank, you have this amount, ER big T minus small t VT. But if you invest in derivative, you will have a capital gain at the maturity, and in the meantime, you also get dividend. So you have to change the first equation as a EQT multiplied by expected value VT. So we move this one and we have this one, right? Because sum of dividend flow plus capital gain should be equal to risk-free rate, right? Which means that the capital gain should be lowered by the amount exactly the dividend gain. Because whatever you invest, you should get the same return in the risk-neutral world, because no one can risk. Therefore, this also supports any derivative. Thus, the price of derivative would be look like this. Intuition. And indeed, this is the solution of this PD. Right? So actually, even it is not even high school mathematics. We are solving this PD by just using intuition. That this PD doesn't depend on mu, so we plug R, which means that every asset should generate the same expected return risk-free rate, which means that when we calculate the price of any asset, what we can do is we can get the expected value under the risk-neutral world and discount it back at risk-free rate. Then it is asset price, and that should be solution of PD. This is what we learned last week. And then let's illustrate this equation with the Black-Scholes model. 질문 있어요? 지난 시간에 배웠으니까 쉽지? 무슨 말인지 알겠죠? 다? 남정식 질문 있나? 무슨 말인지 알겠지? 어? 시험을 봐야지. 내가 믿을 수가 없어. 아무튼 시험 볼 거예요. 시험이 아니라 좀 이런 걸 다 알아야 할 수 있는 숙제를 내가 월지 하나 내줄 테니까 튼튼히 예습 복습을 하는 게 좋을 거예요. 코딩도 하고 프로그래밍도 하고 내가 한꺼번에 내줄 테니까 미리미리 공부를 하는 게 좋을 거예요. 미리미리 공부를 안 하고 내가 마지막에 내주는 숙제를 한꺼번에 하려면 불가능할 거예요. 미리미리 하는 게. 그때 가서 뭐 어렵고 못하겠다 뭐 이러면 어쩔 수 없이 뭐 F 맞고 졸업 못하는 수학. 여기 취직됐는데 졸업 못하면 큰일 나겠네. 어떻게 되지? 이거 F 맞으면 취직할 수 있나? F 맞아도? 졸업 못해 취직. 큰일 났네. 그럼 공부 열심히 해야겠네. 그렇지? Anyway, yeah. So for simplicity, so primer, yeah. For simplicity, just one word. For simplicity, we assume asset again. Let's assume asset price follows till the geometric Brownian model ds mu s dt sigma s dd, and under risk neutral world. Now we are in order to solve that PDE. We are now assuming you are in the risk neutral world, and as I told you, even if we assume risk neutral world, and in that risk neutral world we can get asset price, and Black-Scholes argue that that hypothetical asset price in risk neutral world is exactly the same to real asset price. That's a key intuition. So, and then I illustrated with the movie Inception, right? Basically, we are doing Inception in the risk neutral world. So anyway, on the risk neutral world, measure or risk neutral world, asset price of S, underlying S, should follow this process. Expected return is R. And if we apply Ito formula, then we have this one, right? We did this one. And then if we take integration of each side of this one, right? Then it is integration from Ls log S big T to log S S0. And then right hand side is also easy to do it. The first term is easy. Sigma dz term, it is a change of this. So sigma, if we integrate the second term sigma dz hat from 0 to big T, then it becomes zt minus z0. And zt minus z0 is, because z0 is 0, zt is epsilon root t, right? So we have this one. So under risk neutral world, when current stock price is given S0, the price at the maturity should follow this distribution. Right? Any question? 네, 알겠어요? 네, 무슨 말인지. 김영사, 무슨 말인지. 이거 여기서 여기 이렇게 from here to here. Are you sure? 여기서 여기. Okay, I'll show you. Okay, so this is easy, right? This is simply is a change of log s, and then you can disregard this as just a general function. It's a change. If we integrate change, then it is original function, right? Differentiation and integration is the other way around. So it is ln as simply t0, right? So it is ln as t ln s0, right? Okay, and another part of this term, now we are integrating this one, t sigma dz hat, and then we plug this sigma out, so sigma zt dz hat, right? And again we do the same thing, sigma and then z t0 sigma zt, because z0 is 0 starting point. And then this is the same, has the same distribution as z, right? Are you sure? And then about this term, it is easy, right? It is just big T. Integrate this one, then it becomes this one. Okay? And then, yeah, we plug this one over here, then it is ln, so we plug this one and take exponential each side, because we have log, then we have this one. 남정씨, 알겠지? 무슨 말이지? 그러니까 이것만 하면 돼요, 이거. 질문 뭐 이상한 거 있나요? 물어봐, 모르면. 아는 척 하지 말고. 아, 이게 브라우니안 모션이니까. 우리 브라우니안 모션 보잖아. ZT는 엡실론 T. 우리 브라우니안 모션 배우자. 브라우니안 모션 이렇게 기억하는 게 제일 쉽다 그랬잖아요. 일단 GD는 N 0 DT 엡실론 루트 DT 엡실론은 N standard normal distribution, right? And it is from 0 to T, so we have this one. Because it is from 0 to T, okay? And because starting point is 0, Z0 is 0, so ZT is basically DZ from 0 to T. Bill, are you sure it's okay? Good. Okay, so we know the solution of core option should be look like this. Okay, we get because it's core option, we know maturity condition which is max st minus x, and we discount it back with risk free rate. This should be the value of core option, right? We know this is the solution, and then we know st look like this. Okay, st look like this. So core option price expectation is simply integration. So core option price would look like this. Here we have a plus. This is a shorthand notation of max st minus x. This is st minus x, and we put plus because we concern only the part greater than 0. So it is max, shorthand max. Okay, and then because this epsilon is follows standard normal distribution, we multiply probability density function and integrate it, then this should be a core option, right? And then let us use for the pricing formula. So shorthand f looks like this, plus this one. And then we want to find the, I don't like this plus term, so in order to remove this one, I want to find the point at which the point of epsilon at which this term is exactly 0. To find the point at which exercise this core is indifferent or the value of this term is exactly 0, we can solve this. 1 becomes 0, and we plug f over here 0. Then when epsilon is this one, satisfy this one, this term becomes exactly 0, and let's call that epsilon term as d2. So minus d2 looks like this. So if we integrate, so instead of integrating from minus infinity to plus infinity, we can do the integration from d2 to infinity. But instead we don't have this plus term. Right? And then you can do the integration for each part, then you have a Black-Scholes formula. Okay. I don't want to go in detail. They are very simple. So done. This is Black-Scholes formula. So we solved PD. And it's okay. But the thing is that for call option and put option and for the contract, we can derive this kind of analytic solution. For more general derivatives like weird maturity conditions, simply we cannot analytically solve out this equation. So in the case we have to do simulation or other method, like American option. We cannot, there is no rapidity analogous formula. 김대희 무슨 말인지 알겠나? 어디가? 여기까지는 알겠는데? 해보자. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷. 여기까지는 알겠는데 여기서부터 모르겠다. 자, 이게 솔루션이라 그랬잖아, 이게. Okay, let's review. We know this is the solution, right? Because of this fundamental PD. As I explained, we know on the risk neutral world, as I told you, we can go to risk neutral world and get the asset price, and that is real asset price. Okay. So on the risk neutral world, the asset for every asset price should be look like this. Every asset price. Right? Cash value, so like it is like NPV. NPV in risk neutral world. Cash flow at the maturity and discount. Risk neutral world, so we discounted risk free rate, which is one. And then maturity call option for maturity condition looks like this. So we have this one. Okay. And then we now this ST looks like this, and then next step is just to the integration. We have solution. Okay, let's do one by one. I hate this, but well, let's do one by one. Okay, so we want to solve this one. So, 김대, this part is most important. 이건 ES 이 파트는 여기는 이게 제일 중요해 여기가. 이 줄이 제일 중요해. 이건 무슨 말인지 알고 갈 거야. 왜 이렇게 돼? 왜 이렇게 돼? 이게 펀더멘탈 PD 솔루션이라고 이게. 맞아. 그래서 CT만 만기 조건하고. 그래서 이게 답이야. 이게 답인데 이렇게 되면 뭔가 감이 안 왔잖아. 그래서 정확히 익스펙티드 없이고 정확히 수식으로 풀고 싶은 게 우리 목적이야. 그렇게 안 되는 것도 있지만. 맞아. 여기까지는 오케이. 오케이. 이제 여기서부터는 그 다음부터 그냥 푸는 거예요. 오케이. And we know ST looks like this, and simply we plug this one over here, then we have correlation price looks like this. This is same, and this is expectation, so this is maturity condition, and we have epsilon. So PDF of epsilon looks like this one, so we have this one. So all we have to do is do the integration of this one. And this integration is actually very, very easy. Okay. First, we have a plus, so we want to get rid of this one. So, in order to make this term 0, okay, if this term 0, and if we have a notation for f looks like this one is 0, so 0. And then, equivalent we have, so if we put x over here, take log each side, then it means that this equation is 0, is exactly at this point. Or exactly when epsilon, the random number epsilon, satisfy this one, then this is 0. So if epsilon is greater than this point, then we have this term. And if epsilon is less than this one, then this entire term is 0. Right? And this, let's call the solution of this one as epsilon as d2, and if we move this one over here and divide each side the sigma root c, then minus d2 looks like this. Okay? So when epsilon is d2, this one is 0. Right? So we can integrate over d2, actually from minus d2. Right? So now instead of doing integration from minus infinity to plus infinity, we can do the integration from minus d2 to plus infinity, like this one. Remember, we don't have plus. So it is integration. So let's do integration this part first and this x part. First, this part, the first part. So f is constant, and then this one is constant. So let's just integrate this one. Okay. So put f in front of it. So f minus d2 infinity e minus sigma squared t sigma epsilon t and the PDF, right? We want to do this one. And it is, we have exponential and exponential. Okay? So we put this one together, then it is f minus d2 infinity and then exponential of this one. And this is like a plus b square term. Looks like a square b square minus 2ab, something like this. So it is epsilon sigma t, this one. So this one is basically you can see this one. This one is probability density function of normal distribution with variance 1 and expectation is sigma t, which means that this term, integration of this term is This is almost similar to standard normal distribution. Only difference is the center is different. What is the value of center? Center is sigma root t. Sigma root t. And then we want the integration from minus d2. Okay? And then integration beyond. So we want to calculate size of this area, right? Right. This is size of this area, right? And then, well, what we can do is we can move this one to this way, shift this one, okay? Then this one is size of this one is equal to 수업하고 있는데 밖에서 떠드는 애들은 뭐야? 정말 어이가 없네. 내버려둬. 정신들이 없어요. Anyway, yeah. So this one is we can move shift this one, make it center 0, then it is minus d2 minus sigma root t, right? And this is same to this one. Now it is standard normal distribution. Where size of this one is very easy. This entire term is 1, and we can substitute this one. Or we can flip this one over here. Then this one is, if we flip, then this is equal to, center is 0. If we flip this one, the 2 now plus sigma root t, and we have saved this area, right? And then size of this area is n d2 plus sigma root t, right? N is cumulative probability density function. Let's call this one as a d1, so n d1, right? I just call d2 plus sigma root t as a d1. So first part is done. Extremely easy, isn't it? And then let's do the second term. Second term is even easier. Okay, now second term. Yeah, define this one. F and so we have f term, so f and the. For the second term, this x part. So x minus d2. This is even easier. Okay, so this is like. Well, let's assume this is normal distribution. So minus d2 0. We are interested in this area, right? And this area again we can flip, and this is the d2 same, which is just n d2. See there? So second is ND2. So combining these two terms, so we just plot this also put ERT, so ERT F and D1 minus X and D2. Done, right? This is Black-Scholes formula. In which F is just looks like this. F, D1, D2 looks like this. Black-Scholes, this is called the Black-Scholes formula, or it is equivalently called black formula. Black formula means that it is a valuable option in which underlying asset is forward contract. It is option on futures, right? Because we have F, which is futures price, option on futures. But this is basically same with the option price, because at the maturity, futures price and underlying asset price is exactly same, right? This formulation of a Black-Scholes formula is actually black formula. But when you remember Black-Scholes formula, please remember Black-Scholes formula this way. In the usual textbook, when they talk about Black-Scholes formula, they assume special process for dividend, or even they write down fluctuation formula without dividend. So this is more general one. Actually, this is more easier to remember. This looks like some discounted cash flow, right? We are discounting something in the parentheses, right? Yes, Bill. That's the probability density function for normal distribution, right? So yeah, that's the definition of expectation. Oh, yes. So remember, yeah. So where we are calculating like EX, right? The definition of EX on the continuous probability, it is the x minus infinity plus infinity fx dx, right? This is the definition of expectation. Or E G x is Gx fx dx. This is just a definition of mean. On the yes, exactly. That's the PDF probability density function for standard normal distribution. You know standard normal distribution, right? Yeah. So that term is F. Standard normal distribution. Okay, if we Google standard normal distribution, then yes, standard normal distribution, and math world, and then we have this one, right? This PDF, we have this one. And this here, D function here, D is same to N in our, this D is same to this N. And then in Excel, you can calculate this. In Excel, there is N function or D function over here. So you can get the value of those. Okay. And then let's illustrate another PD with Hohenly model. You know who is Lee right here. This Lee is our 이상빈 교수님. Right? Superstar in interest rate model. Global superstar in interest rate model. 이상빈 교수님. This is very famous interest rate model. Bill, so this Lee is in Hanyang University. This piece. This Lee is in Hanyang University. So, okay. So, illustrate Hohenly model. So, what is Hohenly model? Hohenly model. Well, this is Hohenly model. In the previous equation, in Black-Scholes model, we assume interest rate is given. We know risk-free rate. But, well, Bank of Korea change interest rate always. Besides, LIBOR or market interest rate, they change always. So there is uncertainty in interest rate. So maybe we need to model interest rate. Then maybe the simplest way of modeling interest rate is this one. Okay, the change of interest rate. Okay, change of interest rate is there is some time trend, tends going up, tends going down, plus shock to the interest rate. So known part, unknown part. First part is known and second part is unknown, sigma degree. And let's assume this is on the risk neutral world. Okay. This is Hohenly model. Simple, isn't it? Simple. Yeah, okay. So this is Henry model, and using this Henry model, now let's derive bond price. Right? And every bond, almost every bond, can be decomposed into, every coupon bond can be decomposed into zero coupon bond, right? So let's calculate zero coupon bond price. When interest rate is given as Henry model, now we are interested in price of the bond or price of contract that pays $1 at time t. Okay, for sure someone give you $1 time t, and you are interested in at time small t. What is the value of that contract that pays at time big T? That is pure discount bond, right? So let's denote that pure discount bond as Z small r T T. Okay? Again, at time small t is now at time small t, you are interested in value of contract that pay $1 at time big T. And obviously that should be function of interest rate, so we put R in the function. Okay. What is the value of that one when interest rate follows a Henry model? Okay. Well, and then in that part we need some educated guess about solution. We are not sure, but if you do a lot of equation mathematics, then once you see the problem, you can guess what solution would be look like, kind of. So let's conjecture the price of this Z, the Z looks like exponential of A minus BT plus T. Okay? Let's conjecture. So we are guessing that Z looks like this. And of course, Z are big T is 0. Because at time big T, the contract that pay $1 at big T should be 1, regardless of interest rate, right? Okay? Which means that A big T T minus B big T T R should be 0, right? Exponential of 0 is 1. Okay? So given this equation, now let's do Taylor series expansion. Okay, Taylor series expansion or profit process dz minus rz dt. And dz, if we use the Taylor series expansion, dz is zt dt plus zr dr plus zrr over 2 dr square. Okay, Taylor series expansion. And if you subtract your cost of investing, it is rz dt, right? And because z is exponential function, it is easy to compute zt, zr, zrr. Ct is exponential function, so we have a z, and then it is changed, right? It's like fg prime, something like this. So it is at here, here, this one at, this one at. At is derivative of a with respect to t. This derivative with respect to t. Okay, so if we derivative with this one with respect to t, it depends the same, but we have to take derivative with respect to t about this part. So the t looks like the same. Taking derivative with respect to r is even easier. Okay, this is function of r, so this b term over here minus b term over here. So zr is minus bz. If you take derivative one time, you will multiply minus b again, so it is zr minus b squared z. And dr square is this sigma square dt. Okay, so we plug this one over here, then over here, and plus because it is risk neutral, it shouldn't matter whether you invest in bond or you invest in the bank. So dz expected value of zz minus rz dt should be 0. Because it is risk neutral, it shouldn't matter where it is. So it means that expected term of this one should be 0. So it means that this one should be 0. Okay, this one should be 0, but then this z, you can take out this z, divide each side with z. So it means that the term in the parenthesis is 0. Okay, and we have this r term. We put r term together, then we have this one, AT minus B theta plus sigma square B square over 2 minus 1 plus BT R should be 0. And this should hold for all R, which therefore this term should be 0 and this term should be 0. Right? Because it should hold for entire R. In order to make 0 for all R, we have to make this term 0 and this term 0. Right? 빌, 이렇게? 남정식 무슨 말인지 알겠나? AT, BT가 뭔지 모르. AT는 뭐냐면 A를 스몰 t로 미분한 거. Okay, what I just did is, okay, fx, suppose we have fr, fx, okay, and if we take derivative, then it is simply f prime e fr, right? I'm using this one. This is same to g fx. Prime is f prime g prime. It's a chain rule, right? So if we take derivative of z with t, then you know this term is AT minus BT term, right? And this is z. Right? So we have this and plug everything together and risk neutral world. This term 0, 0 divided 0, and put R together. This is 0, and because this holds for all R, because we are finding z as a function of R for all R, we are interested in the value of bond. So this should be 0. In order to make this one should be 0, first process, second process should be 0. Which means that BT is minus 1 and then AT B sigma this one should be 0. And then we impose constant AT, big T, BT, DT should be 0. Right? 0. So we have these three equations, and using these three equations, we can solve for A and B. First, let's start easy one, BT. Okay? BT is minus 1. Well, this is very easy, which means that B is minus T plus something. Right? BT is minus 1, so B is minus T plus something, right? And then we know BT is 0, BT is 0, so which means that B is minus T plus T, or T minus small t, right? So B is done, BT is small t is done. Very easy. And then for second term, well, we know B, so we can plug B over here. So A equal T minus T, theta T, sigma 제곱 T minus T squared. So therefore, A is simply integration of this one, done. So this is solution from Hohenly model. Okay. So if once we have a Hohenly model, Hohenly interest process, zero coupon bond price is this one. So we can get the bond price. So because we now know the formula for bond price, now we can actually estimate Hohenly model too. We have a data of zero coupon bond price, and we have a formula for zero coupon price, and we can match each other, and then we can find the sigma and theta. Actually, we know sigma, so we can find the theta for all time period. For each bond, we can find the difference. For bond with different maturity, we can find the difference theta in Hohenly model. Difference theta in Hohenly model. So for each bond in maturity, we have different theta. We can so perfectly match Hohenly model. So once we can find the theta and sigma, then we can simulate interest rate. And then we can get any derivative written on interest rate or bond. Right? Next class, we can do some simulation. HJM model, differential equation. Yes, actually we can do differential equation. Any question? Yeah. Right? So easy. So from the existing bond price, zero coupon bond price, we can match the data with our formula for bond price model. Then we can estimate this theta. Once we estimate the theta, then we can simulate interest rate. Then we can calculate other derivative prices. That's the basic idea. This is very important one. Yeah. Any question? 박남규 질문 있나? And then yes, we can get the zero coupon bond price, and then we can estimate Hohenly model. But there is actually problem in Hohenly model. There are some serious problem in Hohenly model. One problem is that Hohenly model, if we believe Hohenly model, interest rate can be negative. Right? If there is a big negative shock in this, then interest rate can become negative. Negative interest rate doesn't make sense. Second one is, interest rate is a lot more predictable than this one. If interest rate is too high, the interest rate tends to go down. Interest rate is too low, then interest tends to go up. Because that's the job of Bank of Korea, central bank. So there is a trend. Okay? And then this Hohenly model, there is no such trend. So if we introduce a trend in Hohenly model, it becomes Hall-White model. So in Hohenly model, this gamma is 0, so we have gamma. So if there is a lot of negative shock, that current interest rate is low. If current interest is low, this term is low, so next period interest tends to become higher. If today's interest rate is too high, then this drift term becomes negative, so next change tends to be negative. So by introducing this term, we can generate mean reverting process. Revert to the mean. And again, this one is, we can do it. Again, we can conjecture the interest rate, follow this process, and then we can solve it. Then we can get the zero coupon